Here, everybody. Guys, welcome in. This is the American Firearms Association show. We are live in Washington, D.C. at the hearings on H.R. 7910, the Disarm America Act of Jerry Nadler's and Nancy Pelosi's H.R. 2377, the federal red flag gun confiscation bill. We're live with Aaron and Chris, who are on Capitol Hill right now. Talking with congressmen and women, shooting some videos, talking with people, and fighting on your behalf. Let us know where you're watching from, and we're going to let Aaron and Chris kick this off. What is going on in D.C. that we haven't seen so far in these hearings?
Yeah, Ben, everybody's watching right now. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We're live here in the Cannon Hall in the United States Congress. What you can't see, what you maybe can see behind us is the entire national media array. It's here today, in mass, in force, lined up. It's the fourth branch of government here. And we have the House, we have the Senate, we have the White House, and we have the Cannon Rotunda, where they're all lined up today, pushing the narrative to take away your firearms, suspend or destroy our Second Amendment rights, and it's an all-out assault right now here in Washington, D.C. I mean, for those who are watching the hearing today, we were down there all morning, and you saw what's going on. This is not about any one thing. It's not about any one bill. It's everything. It's an AR-15 ban. It's red flags, universal background checks, waiting periods, safe storage, all kinds of mental health requirements for gun owners. It is an absolute assault here right now in Washington, D.C. We've been working all day here on Capitol Hill, meeting with members of Congress, making sure that the Republicans know that there's no room to twitch on this, that there's no room for compromise, there's no room for a deal, there's no room for finding a way to find a path forward with the White House. We want from them, very simply, one thing: just vote no on this entire agenda here in Washington, D.C. We've seen so many Republicans, Chris, in the last couple of days just totally crumble. But there are folks here who are standing really strong for gun rights. We've been talking with those guys and gals for the last couple of days. And the message we keep hearing over and over and over in this building is that we are not hearing from all the other pro-gun lobbies across the country. We know they're all taking money from people across America. We're not hearing from them today. So please get the word out to your members. They're telling us, keep the emails coming. Keep the phone calls coming. The pressure from AFA members is being felt in this building, and now is the time to pour it on big.
Huge. It's huge, guys. This is what's happening right now in Washington, D.C. They're live. I don't know if they can hear us super well, but guys, let us know where you're watching from. Share this video with your family and friends. This is an all-out war on our Second Amendment, and the reason this is more dangerous now than it was a year ago is because Republicans, and not one or two, but a bunch of Republicans are standing up there with Nancy Pelosi, with Chuck Schumer, with the NRA, quite frankly, and they're saying, we're willing to do a deal on red flag gun confiscation legislation. We're willing to push this stuff through right in front of the midterms. Don't know why that's happening, but this is the fight that's happening right now. Chris, what are you seeing over there?
Well, I think Aaron already talked about it. Let's take a tour here for a second on this fourth branch of government stuff. You can see him here. Let me see if I can just rotate around here. We're in the Cannon office rotunda. Oh, I know you can hear me. But you can just see him right here, everybody. This is the enemy. This is the greatest weapon of the political left, of the Democrat left, of the communist left. And they are arrayed against everything that we love. And that's just like every 10 feet up here, there's another reporter doing another story, another hit, another attack on our God-given right to self-defense. I mean, we all saw the testimonies and in the hearing today. That one lady was fabulous, wasn't she?
Miss Hughes, wonderful woman.
Yeah, Miss Hughes. I'm sure you guys have probably already talked about that, so I haven't had a chance to talk with anybody about it. But and those are moments of fresh air that are the exception. Of course, we know that the fake news media, they'll never take any of that stuff. We were talking about it with a congressman from Arizona just a couple of minutes ago. He's like, man, the real biggest enemy, the biggest weapon that's being deployed against the American people right now is the media, the corporate media. They're not engaged in journalism anymore. It's a total political special interest group. And we see it here. They're trotting these victims up here. I mean, talk about child abuse. They're trotting these people up here in peddling in the blood of the innocent dead.
Because we never see hearings on DC about the victims of people in gun-free zones.
No.
We never see hearings in DC about people who are murdered by people who crossed the border illegally. We never see hearings about people who died from fentanyl because the cartels can walk right across the damn border. They don't care about that. Their only agenda here is to try and take away your Second Amendment rights. And if they have to use the blood of dead children in Uvalde, Texas, or in Buffalo, New York, they will absolutely happily do that. And that's happening right now here in Washington, D.C. I mean, this has been going on like this. It's been a 10-day nonstop assault. And the schedule right now, from what we're hearing it's changing by the hour right now. So it's changing, and our emails are sometimes having to catch up. But as of this moment, we're looking to see floor action on both of these bills, 7910 and 2377 tomorrow in the House chamber. This is the massive Disarm America bill, and it's also the red flag gun seizure vote. So two great big ones coming really quickly. You've got time yet to make your voice heard. The real question is not what the Democrats are going to do. In the House, we know what's going to happen. The question is, how many Republicans are going to betray your gun rights? How many Republicans are going to stab you in the back and side with Nancy Pelosi? And there's a lot of them right now who are on the, I mean, we saw Cynthia Lummis, for heaven's sakes. Granted, she's a senator, not a member of the House, but this is Wyoming, for God's sakes. And we have Republicans like Cynthia Lummis from Wyoming who are talking about gun control. Rest assured, your congressman from Ohio, from Pennsylvania, from Iowa, from all over the country right now, if he's a Republican, they're flirting with this agenda. They're trying to figure out how much can they get away with. We had a good chat with Randy Feenstra, Iowa's 4th congressional district today. He's a no vote on this, but many other Republicans are considering right now stabbing us in the back, and that's the real pressure right now, and especially when this fight moves to the Senate. Chris, you can definitely discuss this, but that's what's going to mount, and they need 60 votes, and they're getting damn close.
Yeah, and that's something. I'm sorry, man. That's something that we've heard.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's something that we've heard from every one of these members of Congress, of the House of Representatives, is they're like, man, you guys have to be hammering. We don't have the votes to stop Pelosi over here in the House. The fight is going to be in the Senate, and that's why you see a lot of these Congress members. Heck, Marjorie Greene yesterday was giving out Lindsey Grahamnesty's office line for people to start pounding on him. We know this is where this fight's going, and it's just amazing how many House members here on the Hill are saying, "Hey, take it to these U.S. senators. They're acting like a bunch of dumbasses right now." So what were you going to say, Ben? I'm going to cut you off.
I mean, these people are stuck in their echo chamber. That's the problem. They get up there in D.C. Some of these Republicans get up there in D.C. and they go, "Oh my God, the whole world wants gun control. We better pass some gun control." It's like, no, common sense Americans, people whose brains are up here, not under there, know that passing gun control isn't going to save lives. If anything, it may pacify for 10 whole minutes the radical mob of leftists who are just hell-bent on, well, frankly, aborting our children in one way and then taking our guns away to protect children in some other way. These people are totally dishonest. And they put this wonderful woman, she's a wonderful black woman, Miss Hughes. She gets up here, she gives her testimony. She goes, "My son was killed by a felon with a firearm while he was playing dominoes, shot in the head." And she said, "I know, as a grandmother, I think of 12 children and a mother of 7, I think she said, she goes, I know that gun control it took my son's life away. These policies are killing our neighborhoods. They're killing the cities and the communities that we live in." She goes, "We need no more gun control. We need solutions that actually work." And then what happens? The left basically pushes her out of this chair, and they pull up New York City's Eric Adams, and he sits down and gives this bullshit speech about how badly we need HR 8, national gun registration, and red flag gun confiscations.
What's really, I mean, it's sickening to see. I was going to say hilarious, but that's the wrong word for it. But you see somebody like Miss Hughes, she gets up and she's done with her testimony. She walks out of the hearing room. It's in the Government Oversight Committee, and none of the media want to do interviews with her. She can walk straight through the gauntlet, and there are hundreds. I'm telling you, we put this out on Twitter just a little while ago. There are millions of dollars worth of cameras and reporters here at the at this hearing today. But her She was allowed to just walk right on out of the room, right on out of the hallway. Nobody wanted to do interviews with her. It's the fake news media. But if any one of the gun control advocates walked out, it was just like whoosh, whoosh. Because like I said on Twitter, these people have their marching orders. The fake news media has their marching orders from the Politburo, and it is attack, 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 attack. And it's what they're doing.
Yeah, and again, the big push here is going to come down to Senate Republicans, and we have, AFA has been pushing this issue for 3 years now.
Yes.
Since the NRA endorsed the idea of red flag gun seizure laws back in 2018, 2019, we have been pushing aggressively against Senate Republican rhinos who are doing this, and everyone always says, "Oh, this is never going to happen. The Republicans, they're never going to do this." The NRA, well, here we are. Now, here we are today. You can just spend 2 seconds on Google, and you'll see what we're all seeing here in the Capitol today. The issue right now on the table, there's 2 primary issues right now that are kind of bubbling to the cauldron, the swamp here in DC. One is adding juvenile records into the NICS system, and the other one is a full-on Republican-led red flag gun seizure push. This is the bill that Marco Rubio has filed, and this is the bill that would bribe state legislatures and give them the cash they have to have and bribe them to passing red flag laws at the state level. This is not a Chuck Schumer bill. This is not a Chris Murphy bill. This is not a Dianne Feinstein bill. This is coming from Republicans like Marco Rubio, like Marco Rubio and Rick Scott from Florida, and others here who are pushing this. And they're pushing it, as we're hearing on Capitol Hill here today, they're pushing it because the NRA has green-lit this legislation. Sure, they're publicly opposed now. God, it took them 10 days. They're opposed now to HR 2377, Lucy McBath's, red flag bill, but they have not, will not condemn the Republican-led red flag law that bribes state legislatures into enacting these red flag gun seizure laws. That is the big fight here right now. So again, if you're a member of Congress, Republican or Democrat, call them today, make your voice heard, and we'll give you the switchboard number here in just a moment, and just tell them, this is the fight. We're gonna grade this. We're gonna remember this. We're gonna vote based on this, and we're gonna hold you accountable.
And one thing I wanted to mention really quick, I know there's a lot of people watching right now in Pennsylvania and in Ohio. This might come down to 1 or 2 votes. So in particularly those 2 people, I'm just going to call them out here for a minute. He's going to give you the switchboard number. Get in touch with their offices, Portman's office and Toomey's office. These are 2 key people in this whole fight here. Also North Carolina, I guess, Tom Tillis. These are 3 races or 3 U.S. senators we need to be hammering on right now because it might make all of the difference. So
yeah, definitely.
Give them the switchboard.
Hey guys, the number you can call right now is 202-224-3121. Say it again for you, 202-224-3121. If you want to type that in the comment section as well, Ben. One more time, 202-224-3121. Just, you guys have been doing emails for a long time. We appreciate that. You've been signing petitions. The fight's coming down to a vote, tomorrow. Yeah. Now's the time. Grab the phone and call. Yes. I know a lot of the staff members are just not answering the phones right now, and we appreciate the enraging frustration with that. Still leave the message. Leave a voicemail, call again in a couple of hours, hit them on Facebook, tag them in the comments section. Be relentless. The anti-gun machine here is relentless today.
Yeah, you should have seen the lineup getting into the building here. Of course, you have to know somebody in order just to get into this isn't the people's house anymore, in case you didn't know. But they have all of their paid stooges here today. They're busting them in like crazy. They have all these people wearing doctors' outfits. Yeah. And half of these people are all abortionists, right? They're tearing little babies' limbs off for a living, but now they're here to testify about how awful this violence is. And we're like, yeah, it's awful what's happening to them. Arm some of these teachers so they can blow a hole in these problems when they arise. But no, these people are all over here. They're crawling all over Capitol Hill. We saw Matthew McConaughey for just a moment. I did not get the chance to get up to him. If I do, you guys will see that right away. We saw what?
Yeah, in the elevator.
Yeah, he hopped in the elevator. We saw AOC. We saw Sheila Jackson Lee. All these people that were funneling into there. I saw Jim Jordan. Too. But
from a lot of the Republicans that are not stabbing us in the back. If you're watching these hearings, we got some rock stars. You got Stube from Florida. We saw Richardson from North Carolina the other day. We've seen these guys who were like just doing. McClintock was phenomenal in that hearing last week. But what we also see are for the Republicans who are not stabbing us in the back and they're not leading the fight against it. There's a huge number of them. We're just giving this weak sauce approach. We saw from South Dakota, for God's sakes, John Thune yesterday. I mean, we grew up right next to South Dakota. We spent a ton of our childhood in South Dakota, and to see a guy like John Thune, when the press says, "Well, why does someone need an AR-15?" and he's like, "Well, we use them to shoot prairie dogs out there in South Dakota." What kind of BS is that? And that's why they have to hear from you right now, because they're all on defense. They're all acting defensive. No one has the gall to stand up here in media row and just say, "Oh, why do we have an AR-15?" It's to stop tyranny. It's to stop criminals too, but it's also primarily to stop tyrants. No one here is talking like that, except for a couple people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and others. They got to hear from you right away.
I mean, this is why when you say stupid crap like that, like John Thune said, this is why people like Joe Biden get to stand up there and say, "What do you need a 30-round mag for? The deer aren't running through the woods with Kevlar vests on, for God's sake." Yeah. That's where you get arguments like that from. And then you kind of sit there and go, "Well, yeah, I guess we don't need." It's stupid, it's wrong, and that should not be the talking point. The talking point is we are a free nation. We have always been a free nation. The Second Amendment keeps us free, and our founding fathers knew that the only way this nation survives is if we have the right, an individual right to self-defense, to stop tyrants, criminals, thugs, thieves, and everybody else under the sun from taking away our life and freedom. And I just want to throw one more thing in there. What the hell does it even mean right now for the NRA to all of a sudden 10 days later, on some bullshit press release say, "We don't really support, the nasty red flags. We only support nice red flags." That means nothing. It means nothing to the people in DC. It means nothing to gun owners. It means nothing to the left. It's the American Firearms Association. It's you guys who are in DC right now, talking with these Congress people, talking with these senators, and telling them what gun owners demand, what they expect, what we want. If this gun control is stopped, it'll be because of that, not because Wayne LaPierre decided to crawl himself out of his $6 million penthouse bedroom to finally write a press release.
Well, and that's why you're seeing Huffington Post attack the American Firearms Association. You're seeing Shannon Watts attack the American Firearms Association. They're not attacking anybody else. They're not calling out Wayne LaPierre. They're not attacking any other organization. They are attacking AFA members relentlessly because you're the guys who are making your voice heard, your calls, your emails, your pressure. They're not used to it up here. They should be, but they're not. And that's why you guys are being attacked. We're all being attacked in the media right now. That is a good sign. We're here to push and fight and never give an inch, never yield. And they're so used to everybody just kind of like being defensive and being blown over that when an organization comes along and says, "Screw you, we're going to hold the line for our freedom," they're losing it. So guys, keep that pressure on. We know this is going to come up for a vote in the House tomorrow. The timing beyond then is not clear at this time. Not clear for anybody here right now in DC, but there's going to be a little bit of lag time in there before it goes to the Senate chamber. So you've got time. Get involved in this fight. Fire off those emails. We gave you the phone number for the switchboard. Keep that up, guys, and pound it, pound it, pound it. Get involved in our fight today at joinafa.org. Become a member today. We have people who are joining from all across America who are sick and tired of seeing all of their donation money being used to buy tens of thousands of dollars of suits and clothes for a lobby shop that never comes to Capitol Hill and lobbies.
Zach, we just got done, with a congressman a couple of minutes ago, and the first thing he's like was, "Man, NRA has been AWOL up here for the last 3 years at a minimum. A minimum. They had not heard from their NRA liaison in 3 years. Heck, I've been in this congressman's office at least 3 times in the last 4 or 5 months." So because we've known that these fights were coming along. So yeah, we're not down there in where was it? I think he was in Beverly Hills or something buying $6,000 Zynga suits or whatever he was doing. No, we're fighting like hell right here, right now, and we're trying to shut this stuff down. So
I mean, victory belongs to those who show up. Victory belongs
Exactly.
to those who show up. You can't just say, I'm the NRA, and so we're powerful or something. You can't just say that while the biggest
Stupid.
gun control push in American history is happening right now. And I believe it was LaPierre who spent, I read this again just the other day, spent $39,000 in one day on suits and ties,
Yeah.
shoes and belts.
Yeah.
Why?
Can you even believe that?
Why? Don't you think maybe you could have spent $39,000 on radio ads in congressional districts telling gun owners that their congressman is about to sell them
Oh
out
yeah.
on gun control? You think maybe you could have spent 39 grand on social media boosted ads to put pressure
Right.
on people like Mitt Romney and leftist rhino senators who might be stabbing us in the back? People like Lindsey
Exactly.
Graham.
If we had a $300 million a year budget, I wouldn't book flights to Hollywood so I could go to the suit store and be dropping big jank like that. I would have massive media buys going out in West Virginia right now, in Pennsylvania, and in North Carolina, and in Ohio, and I'd be smashing those bastards to smithereens. Politically speaking, for the humor impaired, I'd be smashing on those Republican senators who are sitting there saying, yeah, we're open for gun control. We're willing to do a deal with Chuck Schumer and the radical left. That's what, in fact, that is what the American Firearms Association is doing. Maybe not as massive as the NRA's budget because they've got a massive one, but that's exactly what we're doing in states all across the country. We're getting these ads ready because we know this fight is coming to the Senate. And by the way, that's also why, if you're watching this on the American Firearms Association channel, this is a conglomeration of state-based gun rights organizations. So Ohio Gun Owners is hammering on Rob Portman. The Pennsylvania Firearms Association is hammering on Pat Toomey. The North Carolina Firearms Coalition is hammering on Tom Tillis. And that's happening in states all across the country. Missouri Firearms Coalition. And that's what makes what we're doing here. I mean, we're able to get so much further mileage out of this operation because that's exactly how we're doing it. We're getting all these groups together and hammering on them. And that's why we're asking you folks right now today to become members of AFA. At the federal level, I know there's a lot of questions out there right now. Maybe if you're watching on Ohio Gun Owners channel, they're like, well, I'm a member of OGO. Is that the same thing? Well, they're a little bit different because AFA exists exclusively to focus on federal politics. Okay, and it's a federal fight that we're in here. So if you're a member of Ohio Gun Owners or one of these state-based groups, thank you. You guys are freaking great, and you've been you've got a massive track record of wins and success. We're trying to do the same thing at the federal level here. And like Ben just said, victory goes to those who show up. They haven't been here on the Hill in 3 years. We can't abdicate this field. We can't leave this field of battle to the radical left because they're here in spades. So
absolutely, guys, go to joinafa.org or just go to American Firearms Association.org. Make a donation if you're already a member. We need your help. We're winning with your help, and we're going to keep this fight going every step of the way. And like Ed says, the NRA doesn't have a problem blowing up my phone wanting money every day and night. Oh yeah, they got people just constantly calling gun owners, give us more money, give us more money. What the hell have you done for gun owners? Nobody's fighting for the gun owners. The American Firearms Association is doing this job, and our members are pounding on Congress. They're pounding on the U.S. Senate. And again, Shannon Watts, she hasn't tweeted about the NRA, and I don't know how long. But there's Shannon Watts screaming about the Door Brothers, screaming about the American Firearms Association. There's HuffPost calling us extremists and violent rhetoric and all of this crap. It's all nonsense. But they're only doing that because, well, Aaron, Chris, Patrick, you guys are in D.C. They're watching you walk in the halls. I mean, I guarantee you that Jennifer Wench who wrote that HuffPost article, I guarantee you she saw you guys in the Capitol yesterday at those hearings. And she went and wrote up a story quickly, gun extremists, blah, 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 blah. It's a war. It's an information war. It's a political war. And we are engaging in this at the highest levels
Exactly.
on your behalf. So please help us, join us, go to www.joinafa.org. Chris, have you seen NRA in the Capitol anywhere? Have you seen them in
They're
the,
not
I
here.
know they
They're not
haven't
here. They're not
testified in the
They're not
hearings.
here. They're not having meetings. They're not. I mean, matter of fact, we haven't seen anybody else up here. And quite frankly, we're friends with all of the best pro-gun members of Congress. They're just not here. If they were, they would be meeting with these members just like we are to rally the troops to fight back against this stuff. So no, AWOL. AWOL is the name of their game, and it's a shameful game that they play.
Bad.
Ben, we got to roll. I got to
Okay.
roll. We got some meetings coming up here shortly, and we got to hike it over to the other building. So I'm going
All
to
right,
bounce,
guys.
guys. Thanks for watching, everybody. Be hammering on those. I think, Ben, you're going to probably keep going live. I don't know. But
We'll
hammer on
see
those
where
stop red flags, petitions, those emails, all that kind of stuff. Become a member with AFA at joinafa.org. And call the Capitol switchboard, especially if you live in these swing states, 202-224-3121. And in fact, if I had my magic Sharpie, I would have that on a nice white piece of paper, and I'd hold that up for you.
It's tickering. It's on the ticker on the bottom
it's
of
on
the
the
video.
ticker.
Yep,
All right.
it's been going this whole time
Very
ever
cool.
since you read it. So
Very cool. All right, guys, I got to bounce.
All right,
we'll be
guys.
back with more later. So I'll see you guys.
All right, see ya. All right, guys, you heard it from them. You heard it from them just now. This is a major fight happening in Washington, D.C. We're giving it everything we've got. I want to throw one more thing in here. Jordan, here's this Jordan. He's not a very intelligent individual, but he's in our comment section here. And he wants us to stop dooming. He says, no bill being floated is going to pass. 6 or 7 Republicans may join the Democrats, but there still aren't 60 votes in the Senate for any would-be gun control bill to pass and land on Biden's desk. Now, that doesn't mean we should sit idly by, but we need to stop acting like we're in peril. Are you an idiot? Seriously. How dumb do you have to be right now while the entire country, all of the media is demanding gun control, and you're going to sit here and say, there ain't no chance. Ain't no chance. 6 or 7 Republicans may join the Democrats. Hey, genius. If 7 Republicans are guaranteed to join the Democrats, we only need 3 more to pass all the gun control that we're talking about here. You don't think it's possible to strong arm a couple of more weak Republicans maybe to pass gun control? You think there's no possibility of any kind that could possibly happen under any circumstances? Wake up. You know nothing. This is the biggest fight we've ever faced, and people who sit there and go, oh, ain't no chance, ain't no chance. You sit back and rest on your friggin' laurels while our gun control, while our Second Amendment rights get flushed down the toilet, and you want us to say nothing? I mean, clearly you need to go join the NRA. They would love to have you, Jordan, as a member of the organization. They love to not do anything. They love to sit by and act like everything's all peachy keen. They love to be silent when gun control fights are happening. Honestly, if we were to do what you're suggesting, Jordan, and say and do nothing, then nobody has any reason to be a member of the American Firearms Association. Got no reason. Why would you be a member of this organization just for us to sit here and go, hey, guys, ain't nothing going on. We're good. It's all good, yo. We're not up in D.C. We're not sending you emails. Don't bother contacting your congressman. Don't bother contacting your senators. Don't contribute. Don't become a member. It's good. It's good. Have a nice day. Take care. Ain't nothing going on. You're an idiot. And people like you who are sitting on the sidelines and chucking bombs, lobbing BS bombs in the comment section against people like Ryan and Herman and Linda and Chris and all of these people who are actually fighting on behalf of gun owners. You're the problem with this movement. So get lost. We're going to keep fighting this. Donnie is asking about the 1,000% tax. We're going to be talking a lot more about that in the days ahead. We've been sending out emails on this already. I know a lot of you have already signed your petitions, sent your pre-written emails to your U.S. senators and congressmen opposing this bill. But there is a bill that has been released. They want to basically chuck all of the poor people out of being able to exercise their Second Amendment rights. A bill's been introduced to put a 1,000% tax on every firearm purchased. Okay, so they want to make a $600 rifle cost about $6,000. I think that math checks out. They want to make it so only the elite, only the filthy rich, only the people with large amounts of excess money, they're the only ones who get to exercise their Second Amendment freedoms. Everybody else has to blow half a year's wages just to get a couple of pistols for themselves and their spouse to protect themselves. So we're opposing this bill, obviously. And we're going to give you more updates on that. That bill is not being heard today. Okay, so for Donnie, who's asking, others in the comments section, that bill is not being heard today. So we're focusing on HR 7910. We're focusing on HR 2377, the two major bills that are being heard in this committee. And so, but if anything happens with that bill, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but if anything happens with that, we will certainly be letting you know if there's going to be any hearings or any vote on those things. Here's what I do know, and this is the thing that a lot of people don't understand about this fight. So there's two big bills. Again, HR 7910. It would totally unmake the Second Amendment, right? Totally unmake it. It does 6 or 7 different things. I'll read them off to you very quickly. It bans all magazines over 10 rounds. It forces, it would require all firearms to be locked up in a government-approved safe at all times. It would raise the age of purchasing long guns from 18 to 21. It would institute an assault weapons ban, so-called, and it would outlaw all AR-15s and probably countless other very similar firearms. There would be registration of all 80% lowers, all homemade firearms. They would all have to be serialized and put into the NICS system, National Instant Check System, and it would reclassify bump stocks under the NFA and illegalize those as well. So that's what that bill would do. It's hell on earth. The other bill is Nancy Pelosi's HR 2377. Now, this is a federal red flag bill. And so we've seen this happen many times before. It seems very obvious to us that this is what will happen again. They're going to bring these two bills forward, and the Democrats are going to go, you know what? We'll compromise. We'll meet in the middle. We'll drop HR 7910. We'll not pass that one. We won't demand passage of this big bad bill over here. If you just settle on this red flag bill over here, not nearly so bad, very palatable. And that is the threat, because a lot of Republicans get tempted to go, you know what? We can pass a bill like this. We can pass a red flag bill. And we can go back and tell everybody in our districts that we did really well because we stopped HR 7910. Okay? So that is the threat. That's what we're telling everybody, to contact their congressman. You can see the congressional switchboard number 202-224-3121. Contact your congressman, tell them to vote no on all the gun control. We will not accept a vote on any form of red flag bill. We don't care if the NRA supports it. We don't care who supports this legislation. We don't care how it's written. There's no version of a good red flag bill, and we won't accept any vote on any gun control. So that's the message when you call your congressional office. And I'm sure you won't get your congressman on the phone, but you might get the ability to leave a voice message, or there might be some 20-year-old intern sitting there who might answer your phone call and just tell them You want them to vote no on all of these gun control bills, all of them, with no deals, no deals. If they ask, what bills are you talking about? Tell them all of them, all of them, all the gun control bills. We want none of it. That's what we have for right now, you guys. I'm going to be back here in just a little bit with more broadcast from the hearing. Okay. We'll play some of the live conversation that's happening over here, the Q&A that's taking place. I'll be back with that in just a few minutes. We're going to end this stream for the moment, but we'll bounce back over here. Share this video with your family and friends. Make this phone call. Join the American Firearms Association today. I'm going to read a couple of the new members off very quickly who joined over the last couple of minutes. You know who you are, but I'm going to try to get your name read off here for you. We have Joe. Joe just joined the American Firearms Association from Monticello, Minnesota. We love you, Joe. I'm from Minnesota, and I'm happy to see folks like you joining up. Bobby just joined up from Buford, Georgia. Thank you, Bobby. We have Tim, just became a member of the American Firearms Association from Haverhill, Iowa. We have James just joined from Mendon, Missouri. Missouri is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful state. Let's see here. We'll go to the next one. Eric has joined from Ritzville, Washington. Thank you so much for joining, Eric. David Beal from Lindale, Georgia. David's a stud. Made a contribution to the American Firearms Association. Kevin, right here from New Hampton, Iowa. I know exactly where New Hampton is. I'm from Iowa originally. Joshua made a very generous contribution from Box Elder, South Dakota. Thank you, Joshua, very much for your contribution. We got a couple more here. Daryl from Collins, Wisconsin, made a contribution to the American Firearms Association just now. We have another Daryl, but spelled differently, who just made a contribution from Imperia, Pennsylvania. So those are the names I have at this particular moment. We're going to be back with more updates for you guys very, very soon. Thank you so much for your help, for your support. This fight is going to be going on all day today, and the votes in the House are likely going to be tomorrow morning. They keep changing the schedule. They keep changing the agenda. So we're going to be back with more information for you very soon. There's a lot to listen to. So we'll be back live here in just a few minutes. Take care, you guys. Send your pre-written emails. Contact your congressman. Make your voices heard. This is how we win. This is how we combat the lies. This is how we combat the leftist BS narrative. It's by putting pressure on our congressmen and on our U.S. senators to oppose this legislation at all costs. So get that done, guys. We'll be back soon with more updates and probably more from our team on Capitol Hill, hearing what they're hearing. They saw Matthew McConaughey a couple of minutes ago, but they couldn't get close enough to ask him any questions or to have a conversation with him. They're bringing out all the stops. The left, they're bringing in children. They're bringing in movie stars. Whatever it takes to push this narrative, whatever it takes to push, to tug on your heartstrings and make it a big emotional plea to annihilate foundational rights of our country. And we're not going to allow those freedoms to be taken away on a whim or on an emotional high. We saw what happened in Australia after that shooting many, many years ago. They disarmed the entire country and crime still runs rampant. And we are not willing to attempt to disarm our entire nation because bad people are doing bad things. We're not going to do that. So, I'm going to hop off right now, guys. We'll be back very, very soon. Contact your senators, your congressmen, and we'll talk again